Lee. So, all right, man. I wanna talk about the Cowboys, Dallas Cowboys. I call them the Dallas Cowgirls, really. However, I've seen some stuff, man, in the news. So I don't know if this is true or not, but and this might have been before the draft. I have no idea. But I saw something where the Cleveland Browns were trying to trade for Dak Prescott. So, I mean, I don't know what's going on there. I mean, this was a radio personality from Cleveland who actually said, you know, they are looking before the season starts, they're going to make a blockbuster trade with the Cleveland Browns are going to make a blockbuster trade with the Dallas Cowboys. You know what? Really, it don't even matter. That's just my take on it. It don't matter because Dallas is not going to do anything. Dallas is a regular season team that they always, okay, they win 10 or 11 games every year. They go to the playoffs, every now and again, and they make a first round exit. It always happens. They never get past the divisional round. It don't matter. I don't care if you have CD Lamb. CD Lamb is a solid receiver. Don't get me wrong. Okay, CD Lamb is solid. Dak Prescott, you got Dak Prescott. What has he done for me lately? I mean, that's just the reincarnation of Tony Romo, if you ask me, because they get to the same place every single year and they don't do nothing. I blame this on Jerry Jones, man. I really blame this on Jerry Jones because you can't be living in the past. He made a couple lucky draft picks, with Troy Aikman and Emmett Smith and Michael Irvin. You made a couple lucky picks and now and you won a couple Super Bowls and now you trying to recreate that dynasty. It's been over 30 plus years. Been over 30 plus years, man. I don't see Dallas Cowboys doing anything anytime soon. I mean, it don't matter what kind of trade they make.
No, I
I'm just
mean, you got to take it back to when you go back to the beginning like that with the Troy Aikman era. Troy Aikman, Emmett Smith, Michael Irvin,
yeah,
the triplets.
the triplets.
Those weren't Jerry Jones picks,
Okay, okay, okay.
right? I mean,
Yeah,
don't forget, Jimmy Johnson was the one that architected
Jimmy
that team.
Johnson did. Yes, yes.
So you had Jimmy Johnson, he was a first time professional head coach coming in from the University of Miami at that time. He understood the college climate at that time and he was able to pick some really good players and he was also a heck of a coach. And then you had Jerry who felt like he wasn't getting enough of the limelight or enough of the credit for the success of the team when they got those first two Super Bowls with under Jerry's ownership, and that caused the issue between him and Jimmy. And Jimmy's like, you know what, I'm out. They did win one more Super Bowl after that. I think like a year later with what's the guy's name? I could see his face, but the that
Not
joke.
hungry.
No, it was another coach that they had. Oh man, I'm gonna kick myself for not remembering it. But they won another Super Bowl after after Jimmy.
Yeah,
But it was still with Jimmy's team. It was the team that he put together, and you can tell like all of the infrastructure that he had put in place was still there.
yeah,
As we know, when you have somebody who is a key component to something that has been properly built, you take that key component out, over time it's going to deteriorate
yeah,
until everything that that person had built has been gone and diminished, and that person is no longer there to help sustain it.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's what's happened ever since Jimmy decided to leave because of Jerry.
yeah.
Now
That's
you got Jerry who still, in his hubris is like, it's about me. I can do this. I'm the GM. I'm the reason the Cowboys are successful. And 30 years later, he's not been able to recapture that formula that Jimmy implemented for that success.
right. Yeah.
Right. And so here you have Dak, like I say, he's picked some good players as of late. Dak, CD Lamb,
Parsons. Yep.
Parsons.
Yep.
These guys kind of fell in his lap, to be honest
Yep.
with you, right? Except for Dak. Dak was a fourth round pick, so that was actually that was a good pickup. So you
Yeah.
got these guys, and they end up being high value players, demanding a sizable contract. But when it comes to and Diggs, don't forget Diggs, they picked up Diggs as well.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
But when it comes to putting together the whole piece, right, completing the puzzle, so you have the complementary pieces to help the key pieces to perform and help win you games and potentially get you to a, win you a championship, that's where they fall short. So, with these rumors and all these other different things with the Cowboys, you take it with a grain of salt. I've spoken to a few Cowboy fans, people in my
Mm,
circle, and I mean, they beyond frustrated,
yeah,
beyond frustrated.
they should be. Yeah.
I had one guy, I mean, he lives and dies, right? Dallas Cowboys. And he said for the first time in his life, he's like, I don't know, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't feel sorry for I don't feel sorry for him.
I like
Not that person. Like that person is of course like, but I'm talking about the whole Dallas Cowboy fan base
Yeah,
who
yeah, 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 yeah.
I was there when they had their ups, when they were winning the Super Bowls, and then 10, 15 years later, they still thought every year they was winning the Super Bowl. I mean, it was disgusting, man. Like every year you couldn't tell them they weren't the best team in the league. And now I think it's finally sinking in after 30 years that you're not going to win a Super Bowl as long as Jerry Jones is still your owner.
Yeah, yeah. That's not gonna happen.
Yes, that's not going to happen because
Yeah,
he's not a GM. He's a rich guy, very successful businessman
yeah,
who is playing GM because he is like, it's his toy, this is his thing, he owns it. He says, basically, he said he paid his money so that he can do this. He paid for the team so that he can run the team the way he wants to run it, which well within his rights. It's not a good recipe for success.
yeah,
So I anticipate Cowboys are going to continue to middle their way to maybe getting into a playoff, getting bounced in the first round. This new coach that they got, Brian Schottenheimer, I followed his career because his dad, Marty Schottenheimer, was a great coach.
yeah. Marty was great.
Yeah, he was a great coach. And Brian Schottenheimer at one point had a stint with the Rams when Jeff Fisher was our head coach, and our offense was putrid.
Yeah.
It was horrible, deplorable, bad, and it's not an understatement. It was the worst offense in the league.
Wow.
Right? He spent some time in Seattle. I love that because right, his schemes are predictable.
Right,
It's
right.
very you can see what he's doing. It's easy to decipher. It's easy to scheme against and prepare for, and that's why the offenses never really do that well. So him now being the head coach, and I remember him during his press conference talking about how he wants to start implementing plays that's going to, disguise guys, get guys open. He's going to be crafty. He's going to do all of these like new age stuff. I'm like, I got to see that because he's
To learn some new
like,
stuff over
you've
the.
never you've never shown the propensity of doing that stuff in the past.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Man, like you said, it's got to a point in Dallas where I mean, you have celebrities and former Dallas players like Emmett Smith going on rants. I mean, he's going on long rants talking about the Dallas Cowboys in a roundabout way. He wants this to get back to Jerry, obviously, because he's saying, over the last 30 plus years, usually there's like in a division, there's turnover. So there's teams that there's a team that for 4 or 5 years in a division they killing it, and then the next 4 or 5 or so they kind of rebuilding and getting themselves back together and stuff like that. And he
Right.
was like, this just not has happened in Dallas. Is not happened in Dallas. And he was like, until something changes, and we know what that is. Until something changes, they're gonna continue to be mediocre. And when you have former players, Emmett Smith, Hall of Famer, saying these kind of things, it's something, man. It's something going on in the Dallas camp, which we know is Jerry Jones. And hey, I love it. I want them to keep being mediocre. Keep being mediocre. I love the fact that they get their feelings hurt and crushed every single season. I love it, man. I want them to continue to do what they're doing. The one thing that I really like, though, what I really relish during the season is, I mean, there are some delusional fans out there, Dallas fans. There's some. Don't get me wrong. There's some true and honest Dallas fans, but then you got some that is truly delusional,
Not some.
truly delusional,
It's
and
a large quantity of
it's,
them.
it's, it's large, and they think they are going. Don't let them win the division. Oh, we going to the Super Bowl. We going to the Super Bowl. Don't let them miss and win a playoff game. Oh my gosh, you can't tell them they're not going to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? So they got some delusion there that they got to get over, and it's a sideshow, man. It's a sideshow. A buddy of mine, he said he went to the Cowboys, to the stadium. Beautiful stadium, looks good, everything inside. But it's a sideshow.
Yeah.
You got people going on tours, walking through where you could look at the players working out in the weight room. So it's like a zoo.
Right.
I mean, so all of this that's going on in Dallas, yes, they make money, because Dallas Cowboy fans are going to continue to spend the money. If I was a Dallas Cowboy fan, boy, look here. Let me tell you, I
Yeah.
wasn't buying nothing. I
So
wasn't buying nothing.
so the rookie that the guy they drafted first round, Tyler Booker.
Tyler Booker, yes, yes,
All right. So I he seems to he's had a pretty good collegiate career.
yes.
I think he hadn't given up a sack in his last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And so everyone's touting him. He's gonna come in and they call him the Jalen Stopper. You heard about this?
No, no.
Yeah.
Let's
He's
stop.
gonna be he's gonna be the Jalen Stopper. So
Okay,
I
okay.
did some digging. I looked at his background and okay, 2 years,
Sacks.
no sacks. Like,
Yeah,
okay, cool, right?
yeah.
Go back to the last time he did give up a sack. There
Mm,
was this game he got dominated,
yeah, yeah.
right? He's playing against Georgia.
Oh,
Guess who the guy was that was dominating him?
not Jalen was killing it.
Jalen was killing him. Jalen had 2.5 sacks, a
Man,
couple of tackles for loss. Like, I mean, he was dominating them. So I'm like, you got this
dude,
guy specifically to be the Jalen stopper,
the Jalen
and
stuff.
he stopped everybody
Except,
except
man, that's the hilariousness right there. That's it right there, man. That's it right there.
I
That's
don't know,
crazy.
man. I don't
I didn't
understand.
even hear about that one.
I don't understand.
Oh man, that's typical Dallas right there, man. This is going to be interesting, man. When you look at these guys and how they build their team, and from what I saw with the guy, I was like, oh man, he's gonna be, Tyler Book. I was like, man, he looked like he's pretty solid player. Like,
Mhm.
I think he's gonna do good, except when you play Jalen Carter. I'm sorry for you, buddy. I'm sorry, because he coming. Man, boy,
Yep.
that's a good one. I didn't even hear about that one. I got to go research this now. Yeah, man. Yeah. So, all right. So I know you want to switch gears. Talk a little bit about let's go with the Buffalo Bills, man.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the Buffalo Bills and what they got going on over there. They hadn't Josh Allen is there. They every year they've been getting close.
Yep.
Patrick Mahomes, it's been one thing here or there, where they just hadn't been able to get over the hump of Patrick Mahomes and be able to just beat him, and get to the Super Bowl, and that just hadn't happened. So I know you heard about a story
Yeah.
that was I need you to tell the story, man. I need you to tell
No,
it.
it's the GM Brandon Bean,
Yeah,
who's done a great job over the past couple of seasons, by the way. Like the way he's putting the team together, making some difficult decisions. Last year, getting rid of Stephon Diggs and then bolstering up the wide receiver room, right? The position with guys that are dependable.
and before you go on, that right there was a bold move.
Yeah,
Getting
yeah,
rid of Stephon Diggs,
yeah,
because I thought this dude was crazy. I was
yeah,
like, you getting rid of Stephon Diggs, but yeah. Anyway, go
yeah.
ahead.
And look what I mean.
Yeah, yeah,
Your boy Josh Allen, he had one of the best seasons he's had after that. And not saying that there's anything wrong with Stephon Diggs, but there's a compatibility element when it comes to putting together a team. Everybody knows that. You have different types of personalities, and some personalities just don't mesh.
yeah, yeah,
It's not that it's bad or good. It just it. And I think they got to a point where they realized Stephon he didn't really fit, right, that the room, and so they got rid of him and they picked up a couple of rookie receivers. Like I said, got Dalton Kincaid a couple of seasons ago at the tight end position. I really like him as a pass catching tight end. No, he called into a radio station a couple of days ago because they was talking some mess about him, saying that he blew it in the draft. He was supposed to pick up a wide receiver. What's wrong with him? Da 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 da. And this guy, he called into the station.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's so funny, right? Because these guys, you talk your mess about the players, about the GMs, about the coaches, and then when they confront you, what you're expecting them to be cordial with you. I don't know why.
Right.
Because when Bean called in, he said, "Hey, I was listening to you guys on the radio, right?
Yeah,
And I heard you was talking bleep, right?
yeah,
You was talking some mess, right?
yeah.
Literally, I mean, he was raw, uncut.
Right.
The radio person, like his first inclination, like he started to thank him. Oh, you've been listening to us, like thank you for. And then he quickly caught on to what was about to happen,
Right, right, right.
right? And so Brandon, he went in. He's like, see, this is the same mess, right? I don't know what the heck is wrong with you guys. You're saying that we need a wide receiver. You say that we blew it, but if you look at Josh Allen just won the MVP.
Yeah, yeah.
You look at this. You said we scored 35 consecutive points for I think for like 6 straight weeks, counting the playoffs. We led the league in points. Like, what the heck do you guys want? You the same guys, right? That was calling us crazy for picking Josh Allen over. You wanted Josh Rosen. You
Right.
wanted Josh Rosen. That's who you guys wanted us to pick. We
Mhm.
picked Josh Allen, and look how that turned out, right?
Exactly. Yeah,
So, in no uncertain terms, and trust me, Brandon, like it was like not suitable for work type, language he was using with these guys.
yeah, yeah,
And he went in, and you could tell them they were just like deer caught in headlights. Like
yeah,
they
yeah.
didn't really know how to react. Now, it was a clip, so I didn't see how the rest of the conversation panned out. But I mean, kudos to him. I'm glad he did it because again, you got people on these mediums where you're going to be talking certain. Because what he said to me was like, I could see if you said this last year,
Right, 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 right. Yeah,
right? But after what happened this year, like, what are you guys looking at,
yeah.
right? Like, what do you expect me to do? Like, I'm doing you like we're winning,
Right, right.
right? We
Yeah,
had a bad break, right? But if you look at the Bills were a borderline championship caliber team. Like they
yeah.
were good enough to
Absolutely.
go to the Super Bowl in the AFC.
Yep, yep.
I still think they would have lost to the Eagles,
Yeah,
right? But they would have been good enough to go.
definitely.
So you got these guys, and I think you want to be negative just to be negative, especially when you have those type of mediums. But I'm glad he called in and called them out, man. They deserve that.
Yeah, yeah. When I heard about this too, I thought this just happened in Philadelphia, where I thought no, literally, seriously, I thought Philadelphia was the only city, WIP radio in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
These dudes trash the GM, trash the players. I mean, and I'm like, dude, y'all supposed to be the hometown team. I mean, y'all supposed to be rooting on. I mean, that's what I don't get about some of these radio personalities. You're supposed to be, encouraging and I know not all the time, right? But sometimes you get frustrated. But I mean, every single time, if I was a coach, I don't blame the GM, man, because I would have did the same thing because after so long with all this negativity single day, you know, and and it's like negativity sells. So I really, as an Eagles fan, I stopped listening to WIP radio
Yeah.
because of the negativity. It was just too much. It just got over the top. So I could see where that GM from Buffalo, just got tired of it. Like, man, these dudes, y'all don't know what y'all talking. I mean, come on now, and that makes sense because Josh, like you said, he won MVP. What else you want?
What you want, right?
MVP, leading in yards. All these stats.
Hmm.
They got to bulk up on defense to try and beat Patrick Mahomes.
And that's what Brandon Beam was saying. He's like, look, he's like, we need defense. You saw
Yes,
that was the weakness last season, right?
yes,
So
yes,
we spent our draft picks trying to shore up that side of the ball.
yes.
Offense is good. You got a good running back. You got a good line. You got one of the best quarterbacks in the league. You got pass catchers who are young who are gonna just get better.
Right.
Do you need to spend a first round pick on a wide receiver for that?
No,
that doesn't make any
don't
sense.
make no sense.
That don't make
That's
no sense.
why they need to stay on the radio and don't try to be no GM.
Yes,
Don't try to be no GM.
but your boy, your Philly, that fan base.
The fan base, I'm telling you, the fan base is a tough fan base, man. I
Yeah,
mean, but the thing about it is, what I know about the Philly fan base is they just like to win. And not everybody likes to win, but what they like to see is they want you, it's a blue collar city. What they want is when you step foot on the field, they expect you to go 100% every single time. I mean, and that's what you should be doing. And then when they see, you slacking off or you not, rushing, the passer 100% of the time fully, or you just, you doing silliness, and people don't like that, man. People in Philly is serious, man. It's like, look, man, let's go. This is a blue collar city. We paying our money to come watch y'all. We gotta win. So it's a tough city and it's a tough place to play. And I'm glad you said something about that too with Philly, because I just watched something where they were saying, one guy was saying, with all the talk and stuff about, Jalen Hurts not being a good quarterback and all that, he's winning in Philadelphia. That is tough, man. You see Carson Wentz? He couldn't handle that. Donovan McNabb, he was, I'd give him, he was a middle of the road quarterback. And then when you look back at it, he really didn't have any receivers apart from T.O. But again, you can't be throwing up in the Super Bowl. You can't be doing stuff like that. You can't be throwing up in the Super Bowl.
Did Donovan McNabb ever win an MVP?
No.
No. Do you think he has put up enough numbers to be a Hall of Famer?
Man. Boy, that's a tight one. I think he's right there, but because he just couldn't get over the hump.
Yeah.
But then when you look at it, you can't really blame him because, man, Andy Reid wasn't the coach that he is now. Andy Reid was a solid coach. Don't get me wrong. And we got spoiled as Eagles fans because we would always be going NFC Championship. That's what I'm saying. Back to back to back, we going to NFC Championships. So, we got used to that. We got used to and that's getting spoiled when so Andy Reid was a great coach, but I think Donovan McNabb he's just not quite there. I mean, and that's where I think he is for that Hall of Fame. He's like, Hall of Fame is here, and he's like
Right there.
there.
Right
He's
there.
just not quite there yet. I don't know if he's ever going to get there, but again, I blame Andy Reid and I blame the GM and I think Howie was there back then too. Howie was not the GM that he is now. Andy was not the coach, and Andy had to go. He had to go. Andy had to go, man. If Andy was still there, we was not going to win these Super Bowls. I promise you that. Andy had to go. He was stubborn. It was time for him to go. And with Donovan McNabb, if you look at his receivers, man, he had Todd Pinkston, he had Freddie Mitchell. I mean, you can't win no Super Bowl with them.
Fast Freddie. What was it? The championship belt?
Yeah, you can't win no Super Bowl with them, man. I mean, we always had a great running back. Deuce Staley and Correll Buckhalter and
Westbrook.
Westbrook. Yeah, we always had a good running game. But when you look at the receivers, man, they was trash. They was James Thrash.
I remember that.
James Trash.
Thrash was trash. Thrash was trash.
Exactly. So
Well,
that's
the one. So when you guys did finally break through and make it to the Super Bowl,
yes. T.O.
that's when you had T.O.
T.O.
Yeah, T.O. Yeah,
He had a receiver.
yeah, yeah,
T.O. man. The
yeah.
defense always was solid.
And he lit it
You
up that
put
team.
one good receiver on that team,
Yeah.
and boom, you're going straight to the Super Bowl.
So you can't really say it was Andy's fault. Probably the GM fault. They didn't give him
Yeah,
enough
yeah.
records.
Yeah, they
Because
did
I don't think when you look at Andy Reid's style of coaching, it hasn't changed.
That's true.
He just has a different quarterback pulling the
Different
trigger.
quarterback. Yeah. And you got when you look at it too, in Kansas City, nowadays they didn't have big name receivers. All right. Let's see who were their big name receivers in the recent Super Bowl.
Well, not recently. I mean, they got the rookie.
They had
Um,
Xavier Worthy last year, but I mean
Xavier Worthy, what's his name?
Tyreek
Hopkins.
Hill.
Hopkins.
Okay, they had Hopkins.
He's over the
Okay,
hill, but
so
Hopkins,
yeah.
right? Back in the day, they had Tyreek Hill.
They had Tyreek Hill, but they didn't win. They didn't win with Tyreek.
Yeah, they won one.
They won one with
He
Tyreek.
won a Super
Okay,
Bowl. Yeah, he won a
you
Super
have a
Bowl.
Super Bowl. Wow. Okay, I didn't remember that. So, but yeah, other than that, I mean, they had like middle of the road type receivers.
Mhm.
Like not really. So Andy is you're right. Andy is still the same guy. It's
Same guy.
yeah, middle of the road type receivers. They really didn't even have that much of a running game.
Well, that I think that was the problem, even with Philly. You talk about the running backs they had, and Andy didn't like to run the ball.
He didn't like to run.
He did not like to run the ball.
Andy don't like to run.
No.
He don't like to run.
Yeah.
And you're right. That's after in this last Super Bowl after Pacheco got shut down. It was over.
Right.
They didn't run the ball at all. I mean, Patrick Mahomes was going back. He was going back, and you know when you got a high caliber quarterback like a Patrick Mahomes, that's really what making the difference for them from what I see.
I remember the only time I saw Andy Reid run the ball, made it put an emphasis in doing so, was Kareem Hunt's rookie season.
Mm,
I mean, that shocked me. I think
yeah,
Kareem Hunt had
yeah,
like 1,200 yards.
yeah.
Everyone's like, where does this guy come from?
I yeah,
But he had nothing else on that team.
that's true. That's true. He had to. He was
He
forced
had
to.
to run. He was forced to do it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
Andy could do it.
yeah.
He
Everything got to line up right.
can't
Everything,
do it.
and unfortunately, they had everything line up right. You had Patrick Mahomes, and it just you had a all world tight end. You
Yes.
don't have you don't have that now. Travis Kelsey needs to retire. You look at the clips from the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
This dude was. If I was Patrick Mahomes, I would I would be pissed.
Get off the
I'd be
field.
like, dude, what were you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you need to go. Anyway, Jalen Ramsey
Yeah. Yeah.
in Miami. I know they shopping him. They got a couple teams out there that are saying they're looking at Jalen Ramsey. In your opinion, I know he was on. He was with your Rams at a point in time, and y'all gave up a pretty hefty some picks for him, right?
To get him, to acquire him from the Jaguars.
Acquire him, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
It paid off. It paid
it
off.
paid off because y'all
It
won the
paid off.
Super Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, do you think, two questions, do you think he is still a high caliber cornerback in the NFL that can really seriously contribute to a team? And, where do you think he's going to go?
Well, I think that they're the teams that are floating around right now as potential landing spots for him. It was the Baltimore Ravens. I think that's not going to happen anymore
Yeah.
because they picked up that safety in the draft,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Star.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But then the other three, you have the Raiders, which that's a possibility, and Tampa Bay and the Cardinals. Those are some of the landing spots that are floating around for him. I wouldn't think. I think the Rams are going to kick the tires there to see
Okay.
if
Okay.
they can bring him back. But the way the Rams have been operating lately, they've been pretty frugal with the spending of the money.
Yeah.
So he would have to take some sort of a pay cut in order to come back with the Rams, which still could
Yeah.
be possible.
Yeah. Y'all on the cusp. Y'all on the cusp. So when
Yeah,
you
we're
got,
right there, right? If he wants to win
yeah.
and he
Yeah.
wants to get with a team that's like knocking on the door,
You're right.
you might as well come back to the Rams.
Yeah. Yeah.
Take a big of a cut. It's not like, I mean, you've gotten some really good checks up
Yeah.
until
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
point, so it's not like you hurting for money. But if it's about keeping the salary the way that it is, not wanting to do any sort of restructuring, then he might end up with the Raiders
Range. Yeah.
or Tampa Bay.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. Look, if I was him, best chance, would go to the Rams. I mean, out of
Yeah,
those teams, y'all are the closest to getting to a Super Bowl. Like you say, you're right there.
yeah.
So if I was him, but again, guys, they won the bag, man. I mean, hey, what can you say?
If I was him, I would look to try to go to either the Rams or the Commanders.
Hmm. I don't need him at them Commanders. I need him to stay away from them Commanders, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's true. Those two teams, you guys and the Commanders, like right there. So yeah, that would be solid to, you need to come to the Eagles, man. Come to the Eagles.
Where would y'all put him?
We're gonna put him right over there where Slay left, and keep Cooper DeJean in the slot. He'll just swap out with Slay, Quinion Mitchell over there. Keep him in the and then put your boy, keep Cooper DeJean in the slot. I know we picked up a couple other cornerbacks, but that's insurance. That's insurance.
We don't need to see that happen. Yeah, I don't that don't sound like a good idea.
I need to call up Howie, man. With the
Oh, we
team.
need to sit down. Need to take a break.
Yeah, man. So what do you think, man? What do you think? I know I really don't understand this. What are the Steelers doing?
Hmm.
I mean, okay, I know they got a quarterback. They picked up a quarterback. What was the quarterback they picked? Who did they pick? The
They picked
Steelers.
Will Howard. They picked Will Howard.
Will Howard. Okay,
Okay.
yeah. So they picked up Will Howard in the draft. So they have a quarterback because everybody else there. I mean, you can't do nothing with Mason Rudolph, and
Yeah.
yeah, that's not gonna happen. So, but they still waiting on Aaron Rodgers. I mean, this is what I'm seeing. This is what it seems like.
That's what it looks like. I don't
Why?
understand it. You don't normally see the Steelers operating this way, which is why it's surprising.
Weird. Yeah.
But they've left themselves with limited options at this point, unless they try to make a move for Kirk Cousins
Hmm.
with the Falcons.
Yeah.
That's
That's
the
not
only other thing I think right now would make some kind of sense in terms of trying to pull in a veteran that can come in and help get you to a playoff and threaten, right, a run.
right. Yeah.
But yeah, I think they've kind of put the majority of their eggs into the Aaron Rodgers basket, and Aaron Rodgers being Aaron Rodgers, he's
And drag it out.
deciding to just drag it out a little bit,
Yeah.
and not a little bit, a lot.
A lot. Yes.
But I also believe I don't really fault them for not picking up a quarterback in the draft, in this draft. Because like I said, outside of Cam Ward, nobody else was really a top tier quarterback.
Yeah.
And if you, after scouting those guys, if because remember they just made the mistake with Kenny Pickett. They've been down that route.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
They don't want to do that again because when
Yeah.
you invest in these guys, and that's another 2-3 years
Yeah. Yeah.
trying to figure this thing out, and they're like, no.
You're right.
I believe that they are looking at next year's draft.
Mm.
Next year is going to have some really good quarterbacks coming out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we're going to see a minimum of 6 quarterbacks being drafted in the first round next
Wow.
year.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so with that crop coming out, I think the Steelers are like, you know what, we'll just wait till
Yeah.
next year and figure out how we can position ourselves
Yeah.
to be able to acquire someone there. That's why the Rams did what they did.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
forfeited their first round pick this season
Mm-hmm.
and acquired the Falcons' first round pick next season
Makes sense.
so that they can have 2 first round picks and hopefully put themselves in a position to get a quarterback as well.
Yeah.
Right? Same thing, and we don't talk about this a lot, but same thing the Browns did.
Yeah.
See, everybody's so hung up on the Browns and their current quarterback situation, which
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into too much,
Right.
but
Yeah.
they forget the fact that the Browns are well positioned to pick up a quarterback next season,
That's true. That's true.
right? So
Yeah.
it look, unless one of these 5 quarterbacks come out this season and light it up,
Right. 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 Yeah. Right.
right? It won't matter because next season they pick on
Right.
a quarterback in the
They're
first
picking the
round.
quarterback. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. And you know what? That does make sense. Even for the Steelers, picking Will Howard, I think what in the 7th round or something like that. That's not a big contract. That's something where they could say, okay, you get picked in the 7th round. You're not Tom Brady, right? Well, you never know.
Never
However,
know.
you never know, right? But they didn't expect them picking the New England Patriots picking Tom Brady in the 6th round. Didn't expect him to turn into Tom Brady.
No.
So again, like you said, them picking these quarterbacks, this low down, they don't expect them to really light it up or do anything. So yeah, I could definitely see them picking another quarterback in the first round.
But I'll tell you this, Will Howard, the type of quarterback that he is, he fits the Steeler type of mold as a
He's
quarterback. He's big, strong. He can play in that inclement weather,
yeah,
that type of style. He's a strong thrower of the ball. Maybe some mechanics that he needs to clean up, but I mean, he's had a lot of reps. He's coachable. He's played in a lot of big games. He just won the national championship
correct.
with a they may find themselves with the diamond in the rough.
Never know. You never know. And I did you. I'm glad you said that because and I think I told you this before at some point, but Will Howard is a big dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
He is a big dude, man.
Yeah.
So, man, I didn't really when I was looking at him in the national championship, I was like, man, he really does. He looks like a prototypical quarterback, but he's a big guy. So
Yeah.
I could tell. I mean, he's sort of like I don't know how tall.
Ben
What's his name?
Roethlisberger.
No, who used to play in Carolina, who retired now.
Cam.
Yeah, Cam
Yeah.
Newton. I don't know
Yeah.
how tall Cam Newton was, but Cam Newton was big, right?
Let me tell you, I met Cam. Well, so Cam Newton, where I used to work Midtown Atlanta,
Yeah.
there was a gym in the building where I worked, and he one day he came, he was in the gym because V103 was also in that building too. So I think he was doing a radio spot there and was going to the gym. Big is an understatement. Like when I'm looking at him,
Yeah.
he don't look real.
No,
And because it doesn't make sense for a human being to be built like that.
telling you.
It's like everything, neck, face,
Yes.
head, like
Yes.
everything is just like he's like a giant, right? And
Yes.
so I'm
Yes.
like, this dude is the quarterback.
I'm telling you. Yes.
I think he's about 6'5". He was about six
Yeah.
foot five,
Yeah.
at least 250 pounds,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So Will Howard he's also 6'5".
Yeah. I could
He's
tell.
he's 237. He's a big dude.
Big.
I think Ben Roethlisberger is about 6'6".
Yes. Another
So
big.
yeah, I think Will Howard, like the way that he's built like a
Yeah.
Pittsburgh Steeler quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean,
So we'll
I
see.
do. I do. Yeah. I do wish the best for him because these kind of guys like that, coming as underdogs, I definitely would like to see see somebody like him. Right now that you mention it, and just looking at him, he does look like a Steeler. He definitely looks like a Steeler kind of guy. So hopefully that works out for him. But yeah, so I know you wanted to talk about the Raiders too, and what they were doing and what they got going on. For the Raiders, I know John Gruden is in the front office, right? For the Raiders, isn't he? No?
No, 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 no.
Okay, so he's a big Raiders, he is a big Raiders like proponent. I mean, he loved the Raiders because I saw something that he had on some show he was on. His whole office is like Raiders, Raiders
No, so remember now, a couple of years ago, they hired him as the head coach,
as the coach. Right, right,
right?
right.
He,
Yeah.
he was the head coach, and forgot who the GM was. Mike Mayock, I think Mayock was the GM,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and they had a Hard Knocks that season, and then the whole Antonio Brown fiasco
Antonio
happened.
Brown, yeah, where he didn't even play. Yeah.
They just gave him the big contract, and then he's like, I don't want to show up. I don't want to, like right.
Yeah.
So all of that happened, and then ultimately the emails came out about him, those
Yes, yes, yes.
disparaging remarks, homophobic and
Yes, yes,
racist
yes.
remarks that he made. Talk about John Gruden now,
Yes.
and then he was unceremoniously just dismissed from the team,
I got you. I
right?
remember that. Yeah.
And then after Mayock was gone after that too. So he has no affiliation with the Raiders. He just may be hanging on to like
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
know
yeah. I got you. I got you.
old memories. But
Yeah.
no, Pete Carroll, head coach.
Pete Carroll, yes.
John Spytek is the GM. Don't really
Okay.
know much about him.
Yeah.
But you got Tom Brady, who was a part owner of the
Yep.
team,
Yep.
right?
Definitely.
So you got all that going on, and I love the pick that they made with the running back Ashton Genty,
Genty, yep.
right? So you got Genty, you got
Yep.
Geno Smith as the quarterback.
Yep.
familiarity with Pete Carroll. They talked about there was some conversations about why they didn't go after Shador because Shador has he has a connection with Tom Brady, so everybody thought that would have happened.
Right. Yeah.
And Tom Brady didn't even want him, right?
No. No.
And so uh they who do they have? They have Brock Bowers as their tight end. They
Solid.
picked up Jack Bash
Yep.
as their the rookie for the
Wide receiver.
for
Yep.
wide receiver, which I think that was a really good pick,
That's a good pick. Yeah.
right? So I think the Raiders they doing some good things.
Yeah.
They need to show up the line, but I think that could come a little bit later, or they could try to see. Here's the thing about the offensive line. Yes, you need really really good pieces there and to have like like some sustainability and long-term success. But if you even got like B plus linemen
Right.
and a really really good offensive line coach,
Yeah.
you can make that work for a season,
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
right?
Yep.
For just for a season, you could
Yeah.
really make that work
Yeah.
and get that unit to be stable and give your quarterback enough protection, but more importantly, open up some holes for that dynamic running back so he
Yeah.
can do his thing.
Yeah.
I think if they get the right pieces there, and if they have a really good offensive line coach, I need to look up to see who that person is. Then I think Ashton Genty's going to have a really good season as a rookie. The Raiders are, they should win about, I'd say 7 to 8 games
Yeah.
minimum.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're in the same division with the Kansas City Chiefs, with the Chargers and the Broncos. So that division has gotten a lot tougher,
Yeah. That's
right?
tough.
You
Yeah.
got some A plus coaches on all fronts:
Definitely.
Reed, Harbaugh, and Sean Payton.
Yeah. That's tough.
Right? That's a tough and well coached
Yeah.
division.
Yeah.
So it's going to be some tough sledding, but I think so far with this new unit, with the coach, with this GM, and I think more importantly with Brady kind of from afar, kind of overseeing everything,
Yeah.
it seems as if the Raiders are looking to be a little bit more stable than they have been in the past.
Yeah. 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 And I hate to say this. This even like put a sour taste in my mouth. But their offensive coordinator is Chip Kelly. I
That's
mean,
right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
piece there. That's another crucial component. I know you don't like Chip.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
people don't like Chip, and for good reason that they should. I mean, LaShawn McCoy said Chip Kelly can't say nothing to him, right?
Nothing. Nothing.
And when
Nothing.
you hear the stories, you know why. Chip Kelly, borderline, racist type antics when he
Yeah.
was the head coach for the Philadelphia Eagles for that
Yeah.
short stint.
Yeah. And I'm glad it was short.
But as an offensive coordinator, I think he's going to do a good job.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely I see what he did in college, and he does kind of think different, and I saw how he like open up things, for the offense, and so I could definitely see him being kind of crafty with Ashton Genty, trying to get him the ball in different places, and new wide receiver, and then Brock Bowers. So yeah, I mean, I could see them, doing something. Pete Carroll likes to run the ball, so
Right.
so that's something that's going to play into Ashton Genty's hand. So I mean, I could see, but boy, that division, I still think they come last in the division, even though they have those pieces. I don't know how the Broncos are solid. Getting got a turnaround. They got their quarterback of the future, and you got Kansas City and San Diego. So in San Diego made the playoffs last year. So man, all of those teams or three of them made the playoffs, right? The Broncos, San Diego, and Kansas City all made the playoffs, right?
I don't know if the Chargers made it. Did the Chargers make it?
I think the Chargers were in the playoffs. Yes, I think the Chargers were in the playoffs. So with that being the case, whoo, boy,
No,
they got
it,
an
it,
uphill
it's a
battle.
it's a tough division,
Yeah,
and look, not all of them can make the playoffs. We all know
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. It's not,
Yeah,
yeah,
we know it's almost a foregone conclusion that Kansas City is going to make playoffs,
yeah, absolutely, yeah,
right? So now it's like who's vying for that second potential spot as a
yeah,
wild card to get in.
yeah,
So with that said, Raiders, I think they can outplay the Broncos. I think they can outplay the Chargers.
Okay. All
I
right.
think it's a possibility. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Chargers. I mean, not Chargers, but the Broncos.
Yeah.
Sean Payton. I don't really have a lot of respect for Sean Payton.
I don't like him. Yeah, I don't like
I
him.
don't like him as a
Yeah.
person.
Right.
I don't like how he treated Russ,
Russell
right? When
Wilson.
Russ
Yeah.
was there and the
Mhm.
antics, right?
Yeah.
I think it was totally unnecessary. Lack professional. We talk about players and we hold them to such a high standard of being a professional. The same should be said about a coach.
Absolutely.
Same should be said about the GM. As a matter of fact, it should be even more so that they hold themselves more accountable and when they present themselves in front of the camera and how they're treating players and how they're talking to whomever, right? What he did that game when he was like really just undressing Russ,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I don't respect that.
But this is
I don't respect it.
me either. This is the thing though. Russell Wilson is one of the most respectful dudes that I have seen at quarterback. I mean, how could Sean Payton? I mean, I know they went back and forth, but again, I didn't see Russell Wilson. I don't know what how him and Pete Carroll. I don't think they ended up really well at the end.
They didn't. And
Yeah,
I could give you my assumptions as
yeah,
to why,
because I know
right?
they was in your division. Seattle was in your.
Well, because I was getting to a point real quick, right? Just going back. I'm gonna talk about Russ, but going back to Sean Payton, I don't think it's gonna be a foregone conclusion that the Broncos are gonna be that successful this season. I'm still not that high on Bo Nix.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yes, he had a good rookie season, but now the league has tape on him. I want to see what's his ability. What's his ability to continue to evolve himself,
yeah, yeah,
right? Can he continue to get better and now overcome whatever deficiencies that was made playing last season on tape? Can he overcome that and get better so that he can kind of outplay the defenses that are now going to try to manipulate him into making those mistakes or over accentuate those deficiencies? It's going to be interesting to see if he has the capability of doing that.
yeah,
I don't think so, but
yeah,
we'll see.
yeah, yeah.
Going to Russ,
Right.
the problem with Russell Wilson, I from my point of view,
Yeah.
he comes across, I think, as fake,
Mm,
right? Got the catchphrase, go Hawks,
yeah.
let's ride, right? He comes off mechanical.
Yeah.
And not to say that it's a bad thing,
Yeah.
but I believe especially with players and coaches in the league, it comes off as inauthentic.
Yeah.
And I think that's what rubs people the wrong way,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? When people feel as if you're not being you and you're just saying, right, the textbook
Yeah.
phrases you that you think people want to hear,
Yeah.
then it makes people look at you sideways. And don't forget now when he went to Denver and they gave him that big contract,
Yeah.
it came with all of these other conditions that he mandated as well. I think he had an office, right, in the facility. He had a particular parking spot that was designated for, especially for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
He had a PR team that had, preferential treatments in terms of where they could go and what they could do within the facility as well. Right? It was a
Oh,
lot.
he had some demands.
He had some demands and the Broncos gave it to him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then you got Sean Payton who came in. Sean Payton was like, I had never seen anything like this before. All of this got to go.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he already came in, I think, with this bias against Russ because he didn't like the way that they had Russ set up, which I don't think it was right for them to do that anyway,
Yeah. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it rubbed players the wrong way as well. So with that happening, and then Russ coming in and Russ not being able to pick up the offense the way Sean Payton wanted him to,
Yeah.
because Russ isn't even that type of quarterback to play on rhythm like that,
Right. Right. Right.
right?
Yeah.
He's not. Russell Wilson doesn't play like Drew
No.
Brees.
Right. No.
He does.
No.
He's not Drew Brees.
No.
Bo Nix has those tendencies as Drew Brees, but
Right.
he's not as good as Drew Brees either. But he can pick up that offense better than Russ did.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's why I think Bo Nix had the success that he had because it aligned with his skill set, with his style of
Mhm.
play.
Yeah.
Now it's going to be up to him to elevate the game plan, like
Yeah.
the way Drew Brees did. And I don't think a lot of people could do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Just one thing on Russ, he's just a corny dude, man. He's just a corny dude. I mean,
No,
he's
look,
he's
I don't
he's,
like that.
no, I
I don't
mean,
like that. I don't like that.
this is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Russ, to me, this is in my opinion. He's not trying to fit in with anybody, right? He's just being himself. How I see it he is who he is. I mean, he's just like he's a dude who's just sometimes, you got different guys in the locker room, and you got some guys that are kind of corny guys. You got some guys that are like, you know, middle of the road guys, and then you got some guys that are like, they kind of like, you know, might be kind of rough around the edges kind of guys. So you got all these different personalities, and I think sometimes, you know, Russ may not fit in with everybody. I think that's the same thing what happened with some guys could just go with the punches. Some guys could just be like you in a locker room with all kinds of different personalities, and you could get along with everybody. And it's like, hey man, what's up? You could get along with anybody. It don't matter. This is my opinion. I don't know, but I just think in the locker room, you've got some guys who like Russ and they're like, Russ, nice guy. Then you got some guys who like, I don't know about this dude. And then you got some coaches like that. Sean Payton, obviously, Russ would, like you said, he wasn't that type of quarterback to pick up that offense. To me, what it looked like, he's more of a, what's the word I'm looking for? Like if the play breaks down,
He's off script. He's an
yeah,
off script
that's
quarterback.
it. Yeah, he's an off script kind of guy. You got this mapped out. Sean Payton wanted done dot like that.
Yep.
But
Yep.
Russ it's still gonna get there, but Russ
Yep.
gonna do it a different way.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So yeah. But anyway,
So it's been, there's a lot of tape out there of ex-players talking about Russ.
yeah, yeah,
Richard Sherman and Marshawn Lynch comes to note because they've talked about him, and they didn't say a lot of good things about him. They really
mm,
did. They they didn't get along with him, and from their perspective, it wasn't from a lack of trying. I think Marshawn Lynch was like one time he wanted to just talk to him, and he wanted his phone number, and the staff member basically was like, "Hold on, let me get this approved first before." And no, that was exactly Marshawn Lynch's response. Like, what you mean? Like, I
yeah,
never had to go through a third party to talk to my quarterback. Like, this
right.
doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that don't
And I
make
say,
it.
even when he finally did break through and spoke and talked to him, and even he was trying to, yeah, man, we got, like, basically, he was just trying to talk shop with him. And the response from Russ was sterile. It was robotic. Like, he didn't feel. It almost felt as if he was like he was a bother. Like, why are you talking to me that kind of way? That's
Yeah,
how
yeah.
Marshawn Lynch felt. And Richard Sherman was, he's like that kind of egging it on. Like, yeah, man. Like, hey, I know. Like, he's that guy. I think Russ is just socially
That's the word. I didn't mean corny, but that's what I was trying to
right.
that's to say. That
Yeah,
was the right word to
yeah.
use in that instance. Yeah,
I
he
just think
is socially awkward.
he's
Yeah.
just socially awkward. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
and
yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that. You
No,
just have
nothing
some
wrong with
people
that.
because there could be some anxiety there and
Yes.
whatever.
Yes.
And I try to like kind of dig into the background of some of these guys too, like what makes them them. He had his father was a strong personality person in his life, and I think around high school, like his first couple of years in college, his father died,
Mm,
and I think that affected him.
yeah. Yeah.
Right? His
Yeah.
father, and you see the pictures with him and his dad. He looks just like his dad,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right? And that stuff, it
Well,
changes
it
you,
does.
right?
It does. Yeah.
And so, and not to bring, yeah, but so I think with that and Russ, I think him trying, I think he's authentically trying to be the best person he can possibly be.
Yeah. Yeah.
He don't get in trouble. He don't say
No.
nothing disparaging about anyone. He
Right.
goes out there, he works hard,
Yeah.
right? And he just says things that a lot of people look like, why you say it like that? Or
Right.
why, and it's really him being him.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, in our community, we look at that as, you ain't being real. You
Right.
ain't,
Right. 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 Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and it's like,
Yeah,
there's a space for everyone,
absolutely. Yeah,
right? And unfortunately, there's limited space for certain types of people, and for him, there don't seem to be a lot of room for people to just really accept him for who he is.
but yeah,
Now,
yeah.
see, if he over the years had changed, then
Mm.
I'd be like, okay, this dude, yeah, he putting on, but he's been
He's been the
consistent.
same. Yeah,
He's been
yeah,
consistently like
yeah,
this,
yeah. He's the
and
same.
it leads me to believe, okay, this is just who he is.
That's who he is. Yeah,
It's just who he
yeah,
is.
yeah.
Yeah,
And really, that was the word I was looking for. And really, his friends and family and people that are close to him know who he is.
yeah.
They know how he is. So they know what to expect around him. And like you say, yeah, and that's perfectly normal because a lot of people are socially awkward when you get into some of these situations and stuff like that. So it happens. But that was the word I was looking for. You hit it right on the head.
Yeah. Now, I know we're about to sign off soon, right? But I want to talk about one more thing that just popped in my mind.
Yeah,
And I don't even know if you want to keep this on the recording. I'll leave that to your discretion,
yeah,
right?
it's all good.
It's football, but not really football.
Hmm. Okay,
I
okay.
want to know what's your take on the whole Shannon Sharpe
Hmm.
situation?
Shannon. He should. Man, let me tell you, Shannon Sharpe should be disgusted with himself. Yeah, I'm disgusted with Shannon Sharpe. That's ridiculous, man. That's just ridiculous. I start, yeah, and I'm glad you actually brought this up because it's something else to go with this. It's a Shannon Sharpe should be disgusted, man. I mean that is ridiculous. How do you know this girl was 19 years old? Dude, you 55. Come on, man. Are you kidding me? Shan, you had to know. You had to know.
Yeah,
You had to know.
you know, you know.
Come on. Yeah, that was just disgusting to me, man. Shannon Sharpe I can't get with it. I can't get with it.
Because there's another report that came out with another lady that said that there was some sort of assault that happened with
Yeah,
her,
yeah,
and it happened a ways back. This is back in 2010,
yes.
right? I remember when that report came out,
Mm,
right?
yeah,
The reason why I remember that is that same lady. I worked with her, right?
man.
I
Yeah.
worked with her, right? She worked in the same office I was working in the
Wow, that's
same
crazy.
department, right?
Yes.
And we could talk about this offline.
Yeah.
When that was happening, it was a big deal, and of course, social media wasn't what it is today,
Right, right, right. Yeah.
so it didn't catch fire. And Shannon wasn't as big as he
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
But they handled it out of court, and there was no real validity to her claims,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And I'm not saying that with these look, you're innocent until proven guilty,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
owed that. That's the system that we should all operate in. So I'm not
Absolutely.
saying by any means that Shannon did what these ladies said that they did,
No. Yeah.
but to your point, you put yourself in this situation,
Yeah, man.
especially now. Like you said, you 54, 55. You messing with a 19-year-old
Come on,
girl. Yes.
girl.
You're not like I don't consider like come on, right? She
That's
can't
ridiculous.
even drink yet,
No.
right? And so and so like you and I we have daughters, right?
Yes. Yes. My daughter is 19.
You see what I'm saying? Like
Come
come
on,
on,
man.
man. Come
No.
on. Come
No.
on.
No.
Come on. Right? So like I was talking to my wife about it, and she on one end was kind of trying to defend Shannon Sharpe. And I'm like, look, again, there's no proof of evidence that he's done any of this stuff,
Right.
right?
Right.
But you should know better than to allow yourself to be put in that position for this to happen anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to know better than that.
And for as smart as he is, for as much as he's kind of, he built up his personal wealth post football,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is remarkable.
Yeah. That's awesome.
He's more popular now than he ever was as a football player, as a Hall of Fame football player,
Absolutely. Yes.
right? So there's a lot to say about that.
Yeah.
So you have a lot to lose, man,
Yeah, yeah,
right? You
yeah.
don't need to be indulging in these risque endeavors, right?
No, no, no.
And you had, and there's recordings upon recordings of
I
people that
know.
he had on his show telling him, stop messing with these young girls.
Stop it, stop it,
Get
stop
you
it.
a woman around your age and settle your behind down, right?
Dude, how many 30-year-old women, 40-year-old women out there who are beautiful, who are, I mean, come on.
Yep.
Come on, man.
So, some people got to learn the hard way,
Yeah, yeah,
and he's learning right now the hard
yeah,
way.
yeah,
And my wife said, well, some people just can't settle. I said, okay, I get that.
yeah. I get
Maybe
it.
he's not the settling down type.
Right.
Still don't mean you need to go and date people 30, 35 years your junior.
That's
Like
ridiculous.
that don't, to me, it like the level of maturity, just
Yeah.
one, that
Yes. It's not even, yeah.
it's night and
It's
day.
not even on the same page.
It's not, it's night and day. And
Yes.
then when you hear the phone recordings and you hear how some of the remarks that he's making,
Yeah.
it's not a good look.
No.
But to allow yourself to get that emotionally invested in a 19, 20-year-old, you 55, 54, 55, 56,
Yeah.
what are we doing, man?
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
I'm telling
Right?
you,
So,
but
yeah.
real quick on this one too. You know who else is in that boat? Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick is 70 years old, 71 years old. That girl is 24. Bill Belichick. That right there. Because when I saw the Shannon thing, and then Bill came on, I was like, come on, I take. Let me.
You
I
saw
don't
the,
know.
you saw the Instagram posts?
No, I mean, I started seeing the stories, but I mean, I don't even know what he was.
They got Bill Belichick. This girl got him on the beach. He doing these poses with, like, he lifting her up, and like these cheerleader type, like he's on his back with his legs up and she spread, and I'm like, Bill, what you doing?
Stop,
What you doing, Bill? Right?
stop,
And so, Links, this is what I don't understand, right?
ridiculous, man.
This is what I don't understand.
Yeah,
You know what you're doing.
yeah,
You understand from a social perspective,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
The larger audience community is going to look at that relationship a little bit like that looks a little bit,
yeah. That's
that
suspicious.
don't look right,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
But hey, you do you, that's fine. Nobody's business. I get that. Why are you going to then get on an interview and not expect for those questions to come up?
Exactly. What you expect?
What you
What you
expect?
expect?
You think people really want to hear about what what game plans you're going to be implementing for North Carolina University when they know that you, a 70-plus-year-old man, is dating this 20-something-year-old girl,
Ah,
woman?
man.
Like, by the time you're a woman,
She's
right?
a
But
woman.
this
Yeah, she's a woman.
20-something-year-old woman, like, and
Yeah.
then you had her in the background during the interview when they started asking those questions,
Mhm.
and he started kind of fumbling,
Yeah.
and then you heard her. She's like, "We're not answering those questions." Did you see that?
I didn't know this, man. She's saying we not answering these.
Look it up. The camera then panned from him to her. She on in the background on
Wow.
the couch, and she's like, "We're not answering those questions." I was like, "What is going on?
Man, I
What's
gotta look this
happening?"
up, man.
And
I
then they
gotta
put
look.
it back to Bill, and Bill like this,
Man, that's ridiculous, man.
right?
Yeah, yeah, that's crazy. I
But
don't know, man. I don't know. This you hear this stuff. This stuff is, you can't make this up, man. You can't make this up. This is crazy. But yeah, I need to go look that up, man. I need to.
really, look, it amazed me, right?
Yeah,
Because you see Bill as this, like,
right.
he's in control.
Yeah, like they don't even. I
He,
don't even see it.
he ain't like, obviously he's not in control of that situation.
You're not in control.
She said, "We're not answering these questions." I was like, ain't no one talking to you though. Where does we, right? Where does we come from? No one talking. No,
Oh boy, man, that's serious. That's serious. But
it's,
yeah,
it's
hey, look, these fellas, man, hey, they Do what you do. Man. Do what you do. It's just ridiculous.
I don't get it. I don't want to get it. I don't want
No.
to understand. I good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
But that is was well, I mean, what happened to his because he was married, of
He
course, right?
was. Yeah. He divorced her.
He divorced her.
Yeah. He divorced her. And I don't know if this was a rub in your face kind of thing. A rub in your face kind of thing. I don't know. But hey, yeah. I don't know, man.
Well,
Yeah.
we'll see how North Carolina University does this season.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'll be paying close attention to
Yep,
that.
me too. Hey, when you get your look up those Instagram posts.
I'm going to look that up right now.
Yeah.
All right, man.
All right, man. Later.
Yeah. All right. Later.